Here's some botched up extra bits. Fries on the side.
What's up? This is the Botched Up podcast, and this one's a completely different one to what we usually do. We're doing some predictions for 2021. As always, I'm Benito, and you're with my good friend Basil.
I refuse to let my wrestling past dictate my wrestling future.
You're making these up now.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So every podcast has like a yearly prediction, so I thought we'll just jump on the bandwagon and do the same thing. It seems quite fun. And next year we'll see if we came close in any which way or whether we were just a million miles away.
And to be optimistic for once in my entire life, I do believe that this podcast is going to last a year.
I think it will. But probably not in the format it's currently in because we seem to change it every other month. But
it's a long-term commitment at this point, I think.
It is. It's like we're in a long-term relationship with a baby.
We are in a long-term relationship. This is our baby, and this is our main token of friendship at this point.
Okay, so with that...
We can't actually talk to each other in real life.
We just have to do it electronically with a theme. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's always got to be a theme. Go on then.
Right, so predictions. My first prediction for you, listen to this, is a bit of a sad one. We'll get this one out of the way first. It's more of a state of the world than wrestling, but I predict there will be no major crowds in any major shows this year. WWE will try towards the end of the year to do a major show if there's like vaccines and stuff for COVID, but even then people are going to be a bit too scared to go to like a 20,000 person arena, so WWE will put on a massive show, but they'll have an embarrassing attendance.
That is actually a very, very sad prediction. I don't quite agree with you. I can see future hope at some point. I don't think that we will ever get back anytime soon to 70,000 wrestling fans packed in.
No.
Or even 20,000 fans. I can see a TNA style audience of about 5,000 max in separated seats in America. I mean, Wrestle Kingdom had maybe SummerSlam, a more likely Survivor Series, but Wrestle Kingdom had 12,000 people on night one of Wrestle Kingdom, and then 3 to 4 days later, Tokyo declared a state of emergency. And that would not have happened. It was incredibly lucky that Wrestle Kingdom got to do what it did during that time. So I agree with you to an extent. I think it's going to be a long road for us to get back to normal wrestling crowds. But at the same time, I do hold hope.
Let's hope for that because it does make a difference.
A hell of a difference.
What's your first?
So the one that first came to my head, I don't know why it came to my head first. I believe that Hangman Page will become AEW World Champion this year.
Whoa, I like that one.
I think he's come a long way. He's done a lot of good stuff. He's obviously got building tension with Kenny Omega, and I think this year would be the right time to pull the trigger. And I think he would make a great champion.
So you think he'll beat Kenny for it? Yes,
I think he's going to be, because from what I can tell from AEW lore, because at this point AEW are building their own sort of lore, Kenny Omega's finishing move is the one thing that people can't tap out of or kick out of, right? I think they're building this thing right now. I think Page is going to kick the drink, Young Bucks evangelical style, and he's going to be the first person to kick out that move, and he's going to win the championship from Kenny. And they're going to have a feud, I reckon.
First person to kick out the one-winged angel.
That's the one. I think they're going to have a feud from that for a good 3 months into the next pay-per-view.
Wow, that's a big deal. That's pretty cool. Technically, Ray Phoenix on the very last episode of Dynamite kicked out of it, but it was really weird. He didn't get his shoulder up. He just put his arm up weirdly on 3. It's like, why did you do that? That's weird.
That's bad booking.
Anyway, no, I don't think it was booking. I think just Ray Phoenix just put his arm up. I don't know why.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever. Okay, so that kind of ties into one of my predictions. I'll jump to this one. I see Omega versus Cody main eventing All In or Double or Nothing.
Omega versus Cody?
Yeah.
That
doesn't suit your storyline of Paige.
Well, as much as I can see it happening, Omega would. Cody at the moment is not allowed to challenge for the AEW World Title. So
no, while Chris Jericho was champion.
we're still unaffiliated on these rules. I thought that it was forever, and that a couple of years down the line they're going to have to work themselves around this. But I can't see Omega versus Cody, even if it's non-title headlining a pay-per-view, because that is a money match that needs to happen. I'm not really sure what they're doing with Cody
and
at
it's
the moment.
not been done. Has it? He's involved with Sting and like Taz's family.
It is a bit treading water, though, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, I suppose.
Okay.
They've run out of big heels for him to be. Anyway, you're next.
Well, I've got loads of little ones, mostly.
Okay.
Things that potentially nobody will care about. I think Moose will leave TNA. Moose will either go to WWE or Impact. Or AEW. I can see him going to WWE. Moose, if you've been watching Impact this year, has completely outshined Impact. He's far beyond it. He needs to leave. I think he's aware that he needs to leave, and I think he will be offered a nice money contract from WWE for NXT anytime soon. I also think FTR will leave AEW and go to Japan.
Yep.
Hang around Impact for a little while, just do all the things that they wanted to do, because it kind of feels like FTR's done everything they can in AEW, and I think FTR believe that as well. And my last quick little one is that I think Roman Reigns squashes Goldberg at WrestleMania.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a boring match, but if it does happen, I'd rather Roman wins.
Well, Roman Goldberg was supposed to happen last WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah, of course it was. Yeah, of course it was.
And I think that with Roman Reigns' reinvigorated Tribal Chief character, there's absolutely no way that Goldberg... I mean, I hope so. That there's no way that Goldberg is even getting really much in. I want Roman to squash him about 45 seconds and say, this is the new king, the new legend, you know.
So on that logic, either Drew is going to beat Goldberg and retain, or Goldberg's going to beat Drew and Roman's also going to lose the belt.
Potentially.
I know which way I'd prefer it to go, but...
Yeah, same.
By the end of the year, AEW Dynamite will regularly be beating WWE Raw's viewership.
Ooh.
Not just in 18 to 25, but completely. By the end of the year, so like another 10, 11 months. And not consistently, just regularly.
So this goes into my last prediction. I wasn't quite brave enough to put my dick on the table like you just have. But
Okay.
I have put Raw ratings. Raw ratings will continue to drop. Triple H will be moved to WWE main roster for creative, and AEW will release their video game and move to Monday night. That's what I've got.
Ooh, the Monday night one. I don't know if I see that happening this year. One day.
You think they're going to try and beat them from Wednesdays?
Yeah. I think they'll still stay in the same slot. Yeah, I don't think they'll consistently beat them every week. Just like regularly every now and then.
Well, this is an easy prediction to make. AEW will go over 1 million for more than 2 weeks this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. Also, the Triple H thing you said, I'm not too sure he's gonna take that job, even if he was offered it.
I think he might have to. I don't think he can say no. Because Vince has a history.
I reckon he's been offered that job before and said no.
Sure, but Vince gets what Vince wants. If Vince demands it, Vince will have it. And Vince, to be fair to him, has a history. If things go to the real levels, the real deep levels that they have, he's approaching 1995 territory. And if that happens, he will do anything, and I mean anything, to combat that, especially with seasonal conferences with investors. I think at some point something's going to have to happen, because USA, even as small as they are, can't be happy with the ratings they're getting, and Fox must be appalled. So something drastic will happen at some point, I believe. They've spent years and years hiding behind the amount of money they're making, but I can't see either network, even if USA is noticeably smaller than Fox, being happy with the product they're currently getting and the amount of viewership they're getting.
Yeah, it was only a couple of weeks ago. USA said they want more adult content, not sexual stuff, but just more.
Just burning Bray Wyatt alive. Yeah.
Yeah, more violence, more. I think swearing. They said like swearing, violence, and weapons and that kind of stuff.
What the one thing
just to attract an adult audience.
The one thing that I've noticed from WWE product that I believe that they've completely taken from AEW is that they're starting to subtly swear. They use bitch once a show, and I've noticed that bitch is only used in the third hour. So they are starting to try and do that, but they're doing it so badly that it doesn't matter that they say bitch, because when they say bitch, it's really cringeworthy. So even when swearing, they're embarrassing. But,
Do you like the use of swearing in New Japan?
I do find it quite funny, because it just feels like the Westerners know that nobody understands what they're saying, so they can just swear all they want.
They can get away with it. And then the Japanese wrestlers know that they're allowed to swear in English, but not Japanese.
Yeah, I do actually quite enjoy that.
Yeah.
But so our main prediction coming out of both of these things is that AEW is going to prosper.
Yeah, I seriously don't see Triple H taking that job, only because he must have seen everyone else be a scapegoat, and he doesn't want to be put in that position.
Sure, I personally believe that it's going to get to a state of emergency.
All right, I got one last one, and this is a fun one. I think we'll see our first defect from AEW to WWE.
Ooh.
And they won't go to NXT, they'll go straight to the main roster to be like a fuck you, we've got your guy.
Anybody in mind?
I've got a few. Lance Archer, because they've completely dropped the ball on him.
Yeah. And he's got WWE history as well.
Has he?
Yeah, he was in their rebranded ECW. I think he was even their ECW World Champion for a couple of weeks.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. But I think that there might be something in it.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting dynamic, because obviously one of my predictions I didn't bother to mention was loads more WWE wrestlers will jump ship, but it's interesting to think about an AEW wrestler who feels like they're just not fitting in with the rest of the company going to WWE.
Yeah.
It might well happen.
Because I was thinking the same. I was thinking, you got like Cesaro and Shinsuke and Gable, a lot of those guys.
I think Shinsuke is quite happy. Shinsuke is retiring. I think he sees it as that. But Cesaro, 100% I can see being, at this point in his career, just saying, why what am I doing, I think a real big shock one, if he stopped caring about the money, would be Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, could you imagine? That'd be mental.
It would be amazing.
Or all of the boys in the New Day, because the New Day actually have quite a lot of ties with AEW, mainly with the Elite. They're good friends with Kenny.
Yeah, well, Big E's doing well, though, at the moment.
True.
So
he's Intercontinental Champion, isn't he?
But, I mean, I think the biggest shock, the coolest shock would be Kofi giving up the money and just going, turning up one night and saying, hey, Kenny Omega, I beat you on video games. Now I'm beating you in real life,
But let's be honest, how much of a pay cut is AEW? Like, it's probably a little bit less, but for someone like Kofi, I bet he's not getting paid Roman Reigns money.
Well, from what I've heard, a lot of WWE wrestlers have chosen at this time not to renew their contract because they're being offered lowball offers. I read somewhere, which is not confirmed at all, that people like Matt Riddle, are in the 500,000 to 750,000 range, which for the amount of time and the position that he's got on Raw is not really worth it.
Okay, well, that's our predictions. And in a year's time, we'll come back to them, and we'll see if we got any of them right.
Yeah,
we might be way off, but some of them we might be closer than we think.
At least one of them is going to be like 100% wrong, even probably the opposite. But I'm sure we got something.
Okay, so that's it. And next up, that we'll be putting online is our official podcast on Friday. This week we're doing our Botched Awards, best and worst of 2020. We'll see you then.
Man, I need to do some research for that. Jesus.
Yeah, you need to watch a lot of matches. You need to catch up. Till then, keep it botched up.
Keep it botched, bro.
Like, share, and subscribe to keep it botched up, brother.